April 25th, 1974. 48 years of fascism are ended in Portugal. Fascist laws, institutions, police no longer control. Who will take their place? Who will benefit from the change? What's possible now?
These scenes from the class struggle show the beginning of a process that extends into the future. The struggles of 2.5 years strengthened and prepared revolutionaries for a long fight.
Grândola Vila Morena, terra da fraternidade.
On April 25th, 1974, 400 officers calling themselves the Armed Forces Movement led the overthrow of the fascist government that had ruled Portugal for 48 years.
There was little resistance from the fascists. 6 months of strikes preceded this moment, and now the people joined with the soldiers, calling them sons of the people.
In Lisbon, 70,000 people live in these shacks.
There were few doctors, and people couldn't afford them anyway.
96% of the population was functionally illiterate, and only 4% of students were from working families.
Workers on huge estates and in small factories received starvation wages. Driven underground in 1926, the Communist Party organized secretly. Sabotage and illegal strikes erupted.
Lutámos muito, mas a pressão fascista era intensa. Que éramos subjugados de toda a maneira. Íamos buscar a casa a altas horas da noite e subjugados, pancada de toda a maneira efetiva. O fascismo, durante os 48 anos, foi de uma maneira brutal. Onde nós estávamos a trabalhar, tinham eles 2 e 3. Onde estavam um camarada ou 2 camaradas, tinham eles 2 e 3. Ou seja, informadores. Nós mesmo já desconfiados uns dos outros. Eles tinham uma informação tão perfeita, um fascismo tão perfeito, que nós nem podíamos abrir a boca.
Faziam isto. Apanhavam alguns que iam buscar a casa e diziam assim, estava a viúva, por exemplo, lá longe. E eles diziam, vou lá dentro para a caminhonete.
Nessa altura.
E eu depois, quando eles iam para a caminhonete, matavam-me. E depois diziam, eles iam fugir. E depois, mais tarde, esse dia que eles iam buscá-los a casa, eles diziam, vou lá dentro para a caminhonete, não, só vou andando com vocês. Sozinho não vou. Estava lá à frente, não. É que depois matam-me para as costas e dizem que ia fugir.
There were soldiers' uprisings, and in the great strikes of the 40s, prisoners overflowed the jails and filled the bull rings.
But fascism's strength came from its economic control of the colonies. This dependence was also its weakest point. Fascism could only be overthrown when the working people of Portugal allied with the colonial people's fight for national independence.
There was always resistance in the colonies. But in Angola in 1961, then in Guinea-Bissau and Mozambique, organized armed struggles began, and these struggles soon became powerful wars for independence. The wars struck at the Portuguese economy. To oppose the guerrilla fighters, a Portuguese army of 200,000 cost half the national budget. NATO and the United States propped up fascism. The U.S. provided $400 million in 1 year alone, and still the economy declined. 1.5 million people had to leave Portugal to find work.
40,000 Portuguese soldiers were wounded or killed, but many more were changed by the wars. Soldiers who were mostly from poor families saw that the conditions in Portugal were products of the same system that created the misery in Africa. They learned from the liberation fighters and began to support their demands for independence. And the armed forces movement grew from these same sympathies.
Se o patrão não vai com 2 luvas, o que faz falta? Se o fascista conspira na sombra, o que faz faz falta. O que faz falta é avisar a malta, o que faz falta. O que faz falta é dar poder à malta, o que faz falta. O que faz falta é avisar a malta, o que faz falta. O que faz falta é dar poder à malta, o que faz falta.